What's up, guys? It's Z-Rex over here at No Noise Research. Hope y'all are holding on to your seats tight. I know a lot of people are freaking out now. Twitter sphere is already, oh man, 5,500, 6,000, it's happening. Such a fickle market this is, isn't it? $400 drop is, the end is coming, but if it pops 500 bucks, I guess it's the same thing. I guess it's going to 12K. Don't get shook out with the weak hands. Respect your TA. Let's get on with it. Ripple taps Bill Clinton to give keynote at upcoming conference here in October. Haha, first 2 days of October in San Fran. Pretty funny. They cited Clinton, quote, helped usher in a period of extreme growth and adoption of the internet as president, according to the release. Yeah, it was definitely him that helped do that, right? Never would have happened without Clinton. Clinton's the man. I didn't think people cared about him that much anymore, but apparently they do. So they're recognizing, you know, we need to get some people in there. Oh, look, we're going to get Barack Obama. Is he going to start getting on board with some crypto? Man, imagine if Trump did that. If we tweeted, like, crypto's awesome or something. That would probably be a pretty bullish thing. What do y'all guys think? Anyway, just kind of funny. They're tapping former presidents. Ripple. Haha. Binance buys Trust Wallet in their first acquisition deal. So they're getting in the M&A game. Man, Binance looks like they're just going to hit the ground sprinting. Like, this is pretty impressive, how their growth rate. So apparently the deal is undisclosed, but Binance did confirm that the compensation is a mixture of cash, Binance stock, and a portion of its BNB token. US-based Trust Wallet will remain independent following the deal, but Binance will assist running the admin side of the business and in non-technical areas like marketing. So this is pretty cool. This allows them to have ERC20s decentralized part of the back end. So maybe they're going to do a little bit of both, which is actually pretty smart for larger business to mix up and do both sides of that and offer, you know, if you want to do the decentralized part, here you go, you can do that too. If you don't, here you go, here's full-on centralization. Check out our app, it's awesome, which their app is pretty awesome. So I've never used Trust Wallet. It's pretty slick though, it's pretty nice. Yeah, but Binance, keep an eye out for them. Don't forget too, they buy back 20% of their tokens and burn them. Isn't that cool? It's pretty cool. Yeah, here you go. Use 20% of its quarterly profits to buy back and burn BNB token. They made about 500 million from its first year of operation. Boom. Not sure, dependent on token prices. That's an interesting little note there. But anyway, they're getting into the M&A game. Way to go, Binance. Get it in. Get it in. CZ's a beast. He really is. All right. Let's come back over here to the shores. Back to the States. Northern Trust opens doors to cryptocurrency hedge fund as part of pervasive blockchain expansion. Northern Trust is huge. If you don't know about them, we will here in a second. They have almost 10.7 trillion in assets under custody and administration. So that's a lot of money that they're managing. Apparently, they've been quietly opening fund administrator services to select group of hedge funds betting on Bitcoin and Ethereum. I've said this before, I'll say it again. These banks, these guys they've been in crypto for a little bit. Don't let them fool you. They're just not out there open yet, you know? They don't want everyone to run it back up real fast to 20. They're like, oh no, that's bad. Think about Jamie Dimon barking about how crappy it is and it's terrible, but then telling all his branches in Europe to buy the ETF. They're like the third largest buyer the last time I looked. It's pretty funny. Anyway, moving on with some Northern Trust Company action. So this is out of Forbes. So this is the CEO, or president, sorry. He comes in here and talks about a couple of things. This is a 109-year-old institution. And he says, you can take anything today. You can take movie rights. You can take all sorts of entities. And you can create a token for those. He's been at the company 11 years. He says, we have been able to figure out how to hold those tokens, value those tokens, do those things. So to me, that sounds like he's like, yeah, oh, we're in it. We're doing it. We're going to do big things. This is just the beginning. And like them and all other larger financial institutions, specifically in the U.S., they are all waiting for that regulatory blessing from the SEC lords. We'll see. It'll happen soon-ish. I know everybody's just wanting the ETF to happen. I think that's like the next only way it can run up, which is interesting. Maybe that'll be a really big sell the news event, right? But anyway, so yeah, they're getting in it. They have 370 billion in assets under management as of March 31st. Their hedge fund services branch. And you know, that ain't no chump change, guys. Hell, that's way more than the entire market of crypto, which I know a lot of people have discussed. You've probably thought about it yourself. What happens when that institutional money does flow in openly? I would argue they've been doing that OTC, which is over the counter if you don't know, for a long time. I would bet since for at least the last 4 years. So that's a big player kind of coming out and saying, yeah, we're really getting into this. I think it's awesome. This is an interesting comment this guy says. I do believe that governments will ultimately look at digitizing their currencies and having them trade kind of like a digital token, a token of the US dollar, but the US dollar would still be in a vault somewhere or backed by the government. That's funny. Yeah, because those dollars are just physically backed, right, all over the place. And the government's really good at doing that. But that's aside the point. Let's not go down that street right now. He says, how are they going to do that? I don't know, but I do believe they're going to get there. Yeah, and that's definitely going to happen. It just makes sense. It's just the new kind of version of value transfer in money. It's about time. So they launched this private equity platform prototype in February of 2017. It was originally built for a Switzerland-based financial services firm called Unigestion. It's kind of an ugly name. Using an earlier version of the open source blockchain code Hyperledger Fabric, which was an IBM spinoff, and then now the Linux Foundation runs that currently, which is pretty cool. So they were jumping on that, and it's a first enterprise grade version that they upgraded to now. We'll see. Probably a lot of them will migrate to Bitcoin at some day in the future, I would imagine. Although the flipping could happen. Whoa, man. Will it be Ethereum? No, probably not. But it's definitely going to be Ripple. We know that. So, yeah, it's awesome that these guys are getting in there. He just keeps mentioning things. When I do a capital call, I will get my money faster than if I had to do it via emails and paper and everything else. So my time in the market, or my time to market, and therefore when I'm going to get paid, is shortened. The more automated that process becomes, it's just less costly to run a fund. Yeah, these guys are really seeing it. Of course, the writing's been on the wall for a while. You could just look in the chain over years of blockchain data and see people sending millions of dollars for pennies. I mean, it's pretty awesome. You can even send, most of the time, you can send for less than 20 cents, even at the highest speed, which is pretty amazing. So what I think that's pretty interesting that he says here excuse me, is I will get my money faster than if I had to do it via emails and paper and everything else. So my time to market and then for when I'm going to get paid is shortened. To elaborate on that specific point there, the time to market and therefore when he's going to get paid is shortened. That's very important. People like to get paid fast. You know, you do too. You get paid on the, say the 1st and the 15th. Wake up, wake up. It's the 1st of the month, right? You don't want to be paid like 4 days late because they just decided to. Although sometimes it does happen. You know. But the part I want to elaborate mostly on this is that the time to market. I think that's an interesting concept, and I'm not sure if he's exactly talking about this, but it sparked my brain to think your exposure is less, right? Because if it happens faster, if you have to wait a week or two for a traditional payment to come through, let's say you get it paid in euros, you know, you're kind of exposed for that. Not you're kind of, you are exposed to that risk of carrying whatever it is, say US dollars, maybe it's euros. Just think of some type of currency in banking and financial transfers. And so when you're doing that, like Amazon, for example, does they spent $250 billion just in fees last year on interbank transfers throughout the world. So that's a lot more volume, obviously, was done on that. But just to kind of give you an idea how big this market is, like $250 billion. So they have that exposure, though, when that money, in the average time it took was like 3 to 5 days, even for big companies like that to do some of these transfers. So you're exposed with big amounts of money to that, and people, well, currencies are safe. Well, they're not a lot of times. And we're going to just jump to a chart real quick to make this point. Here's US dollar to euro, so it's pretty much like the euro price. And does this look like it's stable? I mean, does it look like it doesn't have any volatility? Here's a weekly chart. I mean, look at this thing. That's like 156. That's 124. And this is only in a couple of months that happened. So you're talking, you know, 22% down. Well, how could you trade something that goes down 20% in a month, like cryptocurrencies? That's just too volatile. It could never be money. Well, this is our money right here. This is what it's doing. So it happens. We can even look at just the dollar, which is DXY. Look at this. It's moving. It went from 80 to 100. That's a gigantic move. And then went to 103 down to 88. I mean, this is some big moves. And just this year alone, it opened up at 92, down to 88, up to 94. So, I mean, those are big percent moves. And this is highly leveraged, too. So, with that said, when you're moving millions and maybe trillions of dollars, depending on the company, you know, that exposure can hurt at some point. So, it's nice that you could be able to get that money faster, reduce that risk. And I never really just thought about that until I was reading that article, just kind of, and I'm not sure if that's what he's talking about. I think it is, but that's how I took it. And I think that's a really extra badass point for, you know, business enterprise level money transfer type situations. So just some food for thought. He also mentions, since blockchain has an immutable record, you can put a robot as a node on that immutable record, and I don't care whether it's private equity or anything, then that robot can audit those transactions and can make sure everything else syncs automatically. Yeah, they're getting it. They're excited, guys. We're going to start seeing lots of articles like this, in my opinion, over the next year, where it's just everybody's like, oh yeah, we love it. For going into what I'm calling, I mentioned it before, the full retard mode in the markets, which will be shared by traditional equities and crypto, in my opinion. I will make a video about that soon, because I have mentioned it a couple times. All right, let's go to the markets. All right, you can see everything's getting hit pretty bad on the top 10. EOS is down, and Cardano are the biggest hit on the top 20 here, at 15 and 17% respectively. Everything is pretty red. It's over. Crypto's done. I'm just gonna close this down. All right, guys, it's over. I'm hanging it up. Peace. Yeah, right. No way. Already lived through a bear market. I lived through that one. That one was. It was rough. Tore me up pretty good. I almost quit trading. In my first video, I talk about that. Kind of about what got me into trading. A little bit about myself. But yeah, that really, really discouraged me from trading. Period. Not just cryptos, like equities, options, everything. I was just like, oh my god, the hell is this? But you got to stick around and learn to manage that risk. Know when to FODL too, not just the HODL. For some of you poker guys out there, I know most of my friends that maybe listen to this, they'd be on that poker. Poker and trading is very similar psychologically, and the patience required to do that. It's awesome, but we won't talk about that now. Bitcoin Cash is only down 10%. What? Go all in? Everybody loves Roger. Almost sounds like a show. Everybody loves Roger. All right, let's pull up a chart of just Bitcoin, and then we can dive into maybe some of those other coins like Cardano and EOS that got sold off a little bit larger today. So here we'll start on the daily. Here's the daily. I will go 3-day and then ratchet down. So 3-day, we did mention that on the custom moving average I have here, excuse me, you can see that there was very hardcore resistance here at this red line right there. And it got sold off every time it crossed it and got close to it. But that's expected, especially after such a big run and bouncing off of it a couple times. It is attacking it harder, though, than it has before. If you notice here, it didn't even get close to the blue teal-colored one. Here, it touched the teal one, didn't really make it to the red, and now we're like crossed over the teal, tapped over red, and still inside between those two. So that's good. I'm not too worried about this position here. I know a lot of people are freaking out. I can't get too bearish yet until we break, for me, until we break this consolidation. So there you go, for the guys that wanted to hear, oh my god, it's not over, right? Not quite. This consolidation after this big move, price was very much accepted here. Let's look at some internals. We still got pretty good volume. And also on a wedge pattern, which is this pink, these pink trend lines here, this is a falling wedge pattern. We talked about it, I think, 3 or 4 videos ago. You can tell, and we talked about in that video too, I scribbled some stuff on here that a lot of times they do break out like this, and we do have the volume on that breakout day right here. Y'all can see it. It's above where it should be, like increasing volume. And now we're still above it, but now we're tapping the top of it, and it's turned into support thus far. Now, could this break and go test into here and then lose? Of course it can. But right now, we're kind of floating around the top of this. And then don't forget, there also is this other support channel that it broke out of, which will be a little extra double support stop. I like to call those kind of, you know, the WTFS. What the fuck stops, right? What the fuck are you still doing in this position? Excuse my French. So here you go. That's where I'm kind of looking at. We need to stay above like 73-ish. And I definitely don't want to see dailies start closing below any of these support lines, and obviously not below 73. If we do that, we will snap down pretty fast to, I think, high 6,000s, and it'll be swift. So do be careful for that. Let's see. It is selling off here a little bit on the 4-hour, 1 hour into this 4-hour candle. And we're coming up right on these lows. The local low is 76.65 pretty much. and we are pretty much right at that. We'll see if it can get smashed through there. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think most of Europe gets up here at like 1 to 3 a.m. and that's in UTC 5 for us, 1 to 3, so you can adjust that for wherever you're at, or Central Standard. But yeah, so there's not really, we're getting below 30 on RSI on a 4-hour, and it is kind of getting below this line, which it kind of only had 2 touches anyway, but it's busted now, so get it out of there. But now we are below 30, so it's oversold. Go super long, right? Yeah, maybe. If you do, keep your stops super tight right here too. But you can see there's still not a lot of, like, the sell pressure so far is kind of diminished after that initial 8 hours of dumping that we had earlier today. Again, guys, this is pretty textbook for a test, and the timing is right. Now, for the wedge to be bullish, for all you bullish people that want to hear bullish news, I already gave the bearish case if we close below this consolidation right here, and definitely if we start closing dailies below any of these trend lines. But that is kind of my line in the sand, is the close of this top here, which is about 7,300. All right. So, but for the, that's for the bears to get some fuel. But for the bulls here, this is really good. Like, this is kind of what you wanted to see. Bust out. It's on nice volume, increasing volume while it's coming out of the channel. As it comes out of the channel, volume diminishes and goes sideways. What we need to see here on this test, this happens a lot with wedges and triangles and trend lines, period. They come back to test and see if it can be now support. See if former resistance can turn support. It doesn't always, of course, right? You got over here a little bit on the daily, but you didn't have any of the other the factors. You didn't have like the increasing volume. See right here, it wasn't like where it is here. So and this is the end of the point. You usually need like 3 to 4 touches for a wedge. But anyway, and we are here too on the ADX DMI. We are kind of in the battle zone. On the daily, it is just right at it. So it's bulls are like right on the edge, guys. Which clearly, not only is that showing that, there are multiple things lining up, which is good. So this should be pretty decent support in this area. Actually, let's go ahead and box that in right now. Bring that over, and we'll bring it down to even this wick. Give us like a range, because you never want to just be right on the money, because you got to be flexible with this stuff. It is art, don't forget that. So here we go, back to my point here, testing this. We're testing it again. We're kind of hanging out here. What needs to happen soon though is we need to get some buy volume, and it doesn't look like it wants to do it. We are making some new lows, but it still can, you know, this is as long as it stays kind of in this range and above this trend line going into this cross here. But if it doesn't, yeah, then be careful. But anyway, if it kind of plays around here and in the next day or two we get some good pump action, we want to see that volume, this buy volume, do exactly like this and start going up more and more and more. Like, especially when you look at it on the daily right now, that's okay. Sellers aren't super strong at the moment. They did increase a little bit on here, but we should have those buyers come in and step in and at least defend. If they don't, then yeah, that sucks. This bull run mini, or you could maybe call it a dead cat bounce, is going to play out and sell off. I am taking a small paper position here for leverage, because I believe the risk to reward in this zone is fairly decent, and I did talk about this in the video too before, that my ultimate confirmation would be if it can come here, retest it, and survive. Am I not, like, maybe preempting it a little bit? Possibly. It did survive on this daily. We have a whole nother day. It just started about an hour ago, so we have a whole nother day. And as long as you keep your stops really tight, man, you can take those risks because you already know. I mean, this is only 150 bucks if I'm wrong. It's okay. You can be wrong a bunch of small times. You want to be able to capture these ones. Boom. Then you don't care, right? So let's hope that pans out. Let's check out Ethereum. If you're long, if you want to be bearish, you're going to hope for the opposite. Obviously. Still the same damn thing. Ethereum is getting really damn boring to look at. So again, that means big move is coming. It's still actually hard to read on internals. Bears are a little bit in control, but they are coming up on like the resistance point. So we'll see if they can get a little bit more momentum here. They easily could, but it easily could also snap back because I think there is a lot more happy people in the market at the moment. But waiting for confirmation is always best. But hey, do what you want. Trade how you want. It's your money, right? Let's look at it on a 3-day. Still the same, guys. We're just climbing up the longer term moving average right on this trend line. Just been battling on this trend line since the 24th of June. It's just can't get out of its own way. That's not terrible, guys. Look, like for example, back here it did that. It went sideways after a nice rally too in early 2017 and was trying to get going. It couldn't, just kept going sideways. We could be doing something similar. Let's wait another few days. We just same thing with Litecoin, I'm gonna guess too. Even on the, let's see, on the lower time frames, same deal. Let's see if we see any hidden divergences or something. Nope. Nope. We are not. It is a good point to note on the 4-hour. We're getting close. ADI is getting, the buyers are getting pretty exhausted, or I'm sorry, the sellers are getting pretty exhausted. The buyers are not to be seen here. That's what that means when it kind of gets below 10. Obviously, it can stay below there longer like it did here, but it's something to note to see if it starts trying to gain strength. But so it is kind of getting weak. You can look at that on the hourly too. Yeah, it took a nice dump. So there was some good force behind that move there. On the hourly, the bears are still in control on Ethereum. But I do not trade the hourly. But food for thought if you do want to know that. All right, Litecoin. Same as Ethereum, same chart, guys. We're kind of in the same zone. I mean, right on top of the longer term moving average. Ethereum is actually above its longest term moving average just slightly. This is the 200 MA if you're curious. We keep getting rejected. We're not even close to like this part, like my modified moving average here, where Bitcoin is actually inside of it, where relative strength wise Litecoin and Ethereum are showing some weakness for sure. So careful with that. There you go. There's a 4-hour. No divergences at all. I don't see anything that's really worth mentioning there on the lower time frames. Price is kind of more important at the moment now. If it just breaks kind of these levels of, let's see, what is that? 75-ish or so. Yeah, careful. Because I bet if we put up volume profile, let's see what it looks like since 2017. Oh, that's interesting. That looks better than I thought it would. I didn't think the POC, which is the red line that goes across, is the point of control. It's where like the most volume is of business and agreeance of price was done in the time frame that I'm looking at. So from here in late December 2016 to today over here. So that's actually that's more interesting to me at that level, and do realize that does come from a price of like $3, guys. So that's pretty damn cheap. Just for curiosity, let's pull that back for when Litecoin was, when it actually first went above $10. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, yeah, so if you do it that far, then your POC is about $10. But I've been measuring a lot of stuff from the beginning of 2017 and late 2016 as like the next leg of the gigantic bull runs of most of these coins. So yeah, that line slashes right through this consolidation too, and there's some support and resistances done on it. So that's pretty interesting. It is right here. We are only about 20% away from that line, a little bit more. So see what Litecoin can do. See if it can get out of its own way. XRP, come on, Charlie Lee, give it some power, rocket power. Buy some back since you sold it all. You think you really sold it all, guys? I don't. I think he sold definitely most of it. But how could you sell all of it, man? Come on, you created it. Hey, whatever. It's all speculation, right? We'll never know. All right, check this out. Ripple. It's still, it's breaking that trend line, guys. And it is tagged like on a bunch of different ones. You could draw this trend line a bunch of different ways. Okay, I understand that. See, you could draw it like that. You could draw it with just the wicks. You could draw, you know, something like that. But kind of no matter how you draw it, unless you did just closing prices, I believe. It hasn't breached it yet. Yeah, okay, so if you just do closing prices on those, you're still at about, you know, 40 cents-ish right here. There are buyers that keep coming in clearly at around 40 cents. You can see, though, when you do break 40 cents on volume profile, that's it. It's flash crashing to 20s like fast. So that's Ripple. Let's go look at its evil brother or good brother. I'm not sure which one's the evil one. I'm starting to like Lumens a little bit more. Oh, Lumens actually kind of looks good. It's at a nice support level here for on the custom moving average. On the 4 hour, bouncing off the 200 4 hour pretty well. Let's look at it on a 3-day. 3-day, it is kind of neutral. It's very neutral on the 3-day. Let's look at some internals. It looks good on a 3-day on the internals. Looks okay on the daily because price didn't really make any highs, like a higher high here on a closing basis or even on the wicks. So no need to try to look for divergence there. How about on a 4 hour? So 4 hour does have a little bit of hidden bearish divergence, so that's something to take note. See if we can get back above, you know, this POC. Let's look at it on a dollar basis real quick. Yeah, it doesn't look as good on a dollar basis at all. Looks okay on the daily still. Actually looks decent on the daily. Still getting rejected by that 200-day moving average. But this is a good box right here, ladies and gentlemen. These are those ranges you like to see. It's kind of like you can trade these really well generally. I'd probably ratchet it up to the bottom or like break in the middle of all these averages, kind of about like that. So yeah, these are usually pretty good to trade, these types of ranges. So, you know, do keep your eye on Lumens. I think that's a good one for the time being. All right, we were going to look at EOS and Cardano because they were the ones hit most today. Let's see if there's any hope for EOS and Dan Larimer and Block 1. Nope, it's done. Hang it up. No, actually, looks okay. I know everybody wants to probably call this an inverted head and shoulders. I don't know what it is about crypto and people just wanting to just love head and shoulders patterns. It's weird to me. Everyone's fascinated by them. But I guess if we wanted to, we could probably draw one. I'm going to draw one because I know all y'all want to see me freaking draw one. So I'm going to just go ahead and do it for you. So here is a left shoulder. Here is a head. And let's see, this is where it kind of gets ugly. Maybe this is a right shoulder forming, possibly. I don't know. Hey, this is, people do everything in crypto. Is that a head and shoulders? I've seen way worse patterns have claims that these are, but it could be, right? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I drew it on there for you. There you go. I'm not going to call it a head and shoulders. But there you go. It is a basing pattern that doesn't look too bad. Again, here you go. Risk below this is pretty immense. You get below 650, and if you don't get caught in the $5 range, look out below. But we are just still playing in this channel very nicely since May. Nice downward channel. I do like this action going sideways through this channel. This would be a perfect time for it to kind of keep going sideways and just bust out of it slowly. That would put it, if it keeps doing that, just FYI, that puts us into about mid-August. All right, let's check out EOS on a Bitcoin pair, and then we'll go to Cardano. So EOS on Bitcoin pair looks, does not look great. It is a kind of in no man's land right here. Look at that, in the middle of nothing. So yeah, so careful on that. This is going to get whipsawed fast one way or the other. Let's look at it on a 3-day. Yeah, Bitcoin pair EOS is not looking too hot. EOS, I do prefer looking at EOS on a dollar pair though, especially since it's going to be more institutionally geared, like the client and the end user. Here we go. Oh, ADA, geez. All right, my first impression of this, I haven't looked at this chart in a little while, is this reminds me of charts back in 2014. And it's not a good reference, as I'm sure y'all got that already from being from 2014. But they would do this, do the super pumps, do a super pump, probably do another super pump, and then they would do like this, and then it was just death for a long time. Pretty much for, I guess if it was like 2014, it would just be like this. And then maybe if it lasts only that long like it did then it starts going up around the end of next year. But yeah, this definitely kind of looks like that chart. I hope it's not. I do have some Cardano. I like Cardano. Y'all know I like Charles over there. But, you know, price is telling us we are at, it better stop here. 1400 is like your super stop out. 1400 Satoshis, that is. Let's look at it on a dollar pair. Oh, kind of looks like a similar chart. Yeah, so about 12 cents or so. 11, 12 cents. So we're at the floor. Good risk to reward here if you got a little bit of balls. But there you go. There's Cardano. Let's look at Facebook, because I know that got on some headlines. People want to see what happened there. Look at that. It's trying. There's on a daily, and there's 1, 2, 3. We're on the 4th day after that sell-off, so it's basing down here, you know. We'll see what happens. I think it has a really good chance of just doing this and then resuming the trend. So that's kind of my feelings on the Facebook. I'm curious if everybody else is kind of thinking the same thing, or is tech over? Let's look at Netflix. I've been trying to actually add regular market stuff in the thing too. I just keep forgetting to do it. And I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to do it either yet. So playing around. Here you go. Netflix. Doesn't look great on the 4-hour. Doesn't look great on the daily either. So careful in those fangs. In the FANG stocks. General market, there's Nasdaq. It is bouncing right off of some major trendline support. So, you know, risk to reward trade entries right here aren't too bad. 71-ish, 7100. It's good support there. All right, let's look at, see if there's anything else that's kind of fun. Ooh, let's look at Tether's chart. No, just kidding. What got slapped the hardest today? That's always fun to look at. Then we'll look at what got also the best. But we got to filter some of these. We don't want to look at all these damn coins. Let's look at only stuff that's above 175 million market caps. So then we'll recognize most of the names. Let's see. Man, I don't know that one. Nano, murdered. iOS token, murdered. BitShares, murdered. Ooh, I might have to go look into that. Bitcoin Diamond. Didn't think it was still around. BAT token slapped. That's not surprising. It had a huge run up. I don't know if you'll recall that gigantic advertising token wave that happened. So that's interesting. All right. Let's look at, and that's the last 7 days too. Let's just look at the last day. PundiX. What? All right, we just got to click on that. Like, what is that? Never heard of that one. Must be brand new. Let's see what markets it's on. PundiX. Yobit. Oh, it's on Binance, so we can go check it out. So, let's go. NPXS. NPXS. Is that the ticker for it? Yeah, it looks like it. All right. Oh, man, look at that. It looks like a coin right when it comes out. They pretty much always look like this. I don't know anything about it. Just saw that one. Had a funny name. They are on quite a few exchanges. Not, I mean, I guess Binance is awesome. TideX is okay. Yobit is terrible. So laggy. They have a lot of stuff on there, but it's super laggy. Let's see what their purpose is. Probably something revolutionary. Aims to bring the next billion crypto users as it allows users to buy cryptocurrency anywhere, anytime. This will make PundiX the world's largest decentralized, oh, of course, and largest offline cryptocurrency sales network. It is decentralized because the ecosystem and transaction records live on the blockchain. Oh, wow. It's offline because our entry point is via point-of-sale devices installed in physical outlets. Okay. I don't know if people want more point-of-sale devices that they have to interact with. I mean, we've all pretty much hated the chip transition. So, I don't know. Interesting. We've all seen this. It's not revolutionary idea by any means, but there's videos, so if you can watch, research it. I definitely am going to go look into it just because it's a new coin. It's a strong sell according to Coin Checkup. So there you go. All right, let's go back to the main market page here so we can just see a couple of the top gainers in the last day. Binance coin, good old Binance coin. And Verge, wow, Verge has been staying flat. That's pretty surprising. Let's look at Binance coin and Verge, and then I think that'll do it for the day. Here we go, Binance coin, BNB. If you don't own Binance coin, at least to pay for the fees, like, it's pretty silly. You should definitely do that. It's like half off just if you use their token. Man, yeah, wow, from 14,000 sats to about 18,000. That is a good run. That just happened in the last week or so while Bitcoin's been going sideways. Binance decided it wants to say hello to everyone. Man, guys, it looks like it might be on the verge on a breakout here on the 4 hour. That looks pretty good. Oh yeah, wow, almost, but there again, there it is coming up on a higher time frame, right on this red line, and also on the shorter term moving average and the longest term moving average. So there is a lot of resistance here at about, let's call it 19. I'm going to go ahead and throw an alert on there to alert me when it goes above that, so I can check it out to see if the breakout is followed by volume. And it does seem to be slightly increasing here. You can see it on the CMF as well, which is the chalk and money flow indicator. If you don't use it, it's pretty good. So 3-day, okay, yeah, kind of showing the same area of resistance. So it's going to be real hard to get over 19. If it does get over 19, could easily see 21 to 25 very quickly. Let's look at it on a dollar pair. Oh, that's Ethereum. I don't really look at Ethereum pairs. Wow. Look at that, jeez. And this is a 3-day, guys. So this is all the way back to April. It's literally been between 11 and 16 bucks that entire time. Wow. That is impressive. That is incredibly impressive. Way to go, CZ. Way to go. Let's go ahead and box that range in too, because that is super important. When price excuse me, when price comes out of this box, it should do it with some pretty damn good force. I'm actually going to put a alert right here on the dollar pair as well, above that. And then I also like to put breakdown alerts too, because those are just as important, guys. So let's see if it breaks down over here outside that box, but it has been ranging very well. Awesome. Let's look on the bottom time frame, see if we can see any kind of divergences or anything. Let's get rid of that. A little bit right here since early or mid-July. There was a slight divergence on the 4-hour, so that's pretty good. Let's see if we saw it on the daily. Yeah, like the ever tiniest bit. All right. And the Verge XVG, man. Wow, Dentacoin is up on the I can't believe that one's still a thing. It's like, and it's on the blockchain. Like, what the hell? I don't know. Oh wow, Verge. That is an interesting chart setup on the dollar pair. Wow. Guys, this is only like 2.1 cents on the bottom of that, and it's about 2.5 cents roughly now. That's interesting. Don't have a position in that, but let's look at it on the higher time frame. Oh, a lot of buying came in right there. It is like a doji though, so careful of that. If price, I would almost take that as if price even breaks below this previous day, like this range here. Like let's say 2.3 cents, like it's probably gonna keep selling off. But it does look like it's poised to have a pop. It had its largest volume day ever. That looks like that was yesterday. So, oh, not ever, I'm sorry. About the 3rd or 4th highest ever. I guess it looked a little different on the 4-hour. I just wasn't zoomed back enough. So there you go. One of the top high volume days on Verge. Looking kind of nice. Let's look at it on Bitcoin pair. Oof, that is an ugly kind of chart. Let's go to daily. Yeah, I guess there's a lot more divergence on the Bitcoin chart. You can see lows here, way higher lows here. Still kind of around 30, but price was much lower. So that's definitely some good divergence there. There it is. On the 4-hour, you can see it really well. There, boom. So yeah, bulls have control via DMI right now. So maybe Verge, yeah, a lot of volume picking up too in the last day and a half. So keep an eye on Verge, guys. I always like to look at that when markets dip hard like this to see what's showing relative strength against Bitcoin. So it's a little trick you can do really easy. I like to do it on Coin Checkup because you have cool filters over here where you can add your own kind of criteria to filter them out, so you don't have to see all these shit coins. I know some of y'all want to. I don't want to have to go through all of those constantly. There's way too damn many. All right, Bitcoin view. Since it was falling while we were on this, we did make a lower low. Since I've been doing this show when I started, so that is worthy to note. It went to 7,600 pretty much, and this is via Bitfinex. All right, so if we take that in, let's look at the 30-minute. So on the 30-minute, we are starting to show a little bit of divergences, but it's not that much. Do not get that excited about it. That's, 30 minutes is a low time frame. On the hourly, you want to start seeing it at least, and you are starting to see it ever so slightly. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that to get a better idea. It is lower right here though. Let's see. So you can't, no, actually, since it is lower here technically, even though it doesn't look like it on this chart, we are not getting that. So stay frosty out there, ladies and gentlemen. Be careful. Again, what I'm looking for here is for us to stay above this consolidation range right there. Right here. So that's about the 73 level to 75 level. I want it to keep getting bought there. That is the reverse box pattern like we had the other day. I guess I didn't touch on that. We'll touch on that real quick. Where we drew it a long time ago back here. Closed perfectly on it. Battled. Now we did confirm and close out of it recently. And it's had a chance to get back in. That is a doji. And this does have 12 hours plus left on it. So it easily could come back in here. Let's see if the bulls are strong enough to keep this momentum going up. Without further ado, I will leave y'all to the rest of your evening or night or morning, wherever you may be. Good luck out there. Trade diligently. Stick to your plan. And again, like, subscribe, hit the bells for No Noise Research. And your host, Z-Rex. I will see y'all guys tomorrow. Peace.